I don't think that we needed to do more than invite him, and I think I see the finger of God and also the direction that Pope Francis takes in general. He is very oriented towards the periphery of society, the peripheries around the world, and Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia are on the periphery of the European Union. We have also something else that interests him, and I don't think you mentioned Albania was one of his visits as well, which is the ecumenism of martyrdom, which we saw in Albania, which he refers to very often in the Middle East as something important. And the history of martyrdom here and the tradition is also something that interests him. He is interested in migration, human trafficking, and other problems that do oppress our society. So we have very much the things here that are part of the message that he proclaims throughout the world. But I also see the finger of God working with his decision to come at this time. Pope Francis doesn't go to celebrate anniversaries of any sort, and through a happy coincidence, he will be coming here as we celebrate the year of our 100th year of independence, which is very important to us. But also he comes to the month of the 25th anniversary of the visit of Pope John Paul II. So that type of thing you cannot plan, and I think the finger of God and divine providence has delivered a great gift to Lithuania. First preparation is prayer. And we are praying after every Sunday Mass for the Holy Father. We're encouraging prayers for the Holy Father, both at the parish level organizations. The second is information, using the opportunity for evangelization to reach out to the people who are not our regular Sunday churchgoers and trying to reach them from an evangelization standpoint, using the Holy Father, his teachings, his words, his personality, which is so big and so popular that it proves to be a very effective evangelization tool. From a logistics standpoint, it is a very large event. Luckily, we have good cooperation with the government, and the government offices are doing their part very much. From a security standpoint, from a public health and safety standpoint, from an organizational standpoint. But also the church is planning the major events, the content of the meetings with the Holy Father, except for the ones with the government, of course, but with the people, with the faithful. And it's the same logistics as for most major church events, whether it's World Youth Day or any visit of the Holy Father. The standard preparations must take place. The first feeling that one has is joy that the Holy Father would be coming here. There's a Lithuanian saying that I think is probably known in other countries as well. A guest to the house is God to the house. Accepting that. And with the Holy Father's arrival, that's very much underlined. We were expecting a guest who is the guest who represents God, God's presence, God's arrival. And that is what we're preparing to have, a great guest. Many people remember the visit of John Paul II and the hope for the future that John Paul II's visit gave the country. That was on the beginning of the road of independence. There was great hope, and John Paul II's visit underlined our presence in the universal church, that we were coming back into the world as an entity. With all the difficulties that you mentioned already, the demographic crisis, immigration, and the other difficulties, people after 25 years sense that the great hope for freedom that they had at the dawn is more difficult than it was initially expected. There are also challenges to live freely, to live a world in hope for the future. And I think that is something that we hope that the visit will instill in the faithful and in the people in Lithuania, that their hope for the future is not in solely economics or political freedom or political laws, but to underline that our hope for the future is in Jesus Christ, and our direction for both salvation and, as the Holy Father underlines over and over again, joy and happiness comes in through our faith. And the Pope conveys that very well in his teachings. It's something the people need to hear. The Pope keeps repeating it, and I think his presence here and that message will help the people really have a founded hope for the future.